There's always more to a story, and I did some digging on Peter Dinklage, and what I found is going to change your mind about what's going down right now. It's not just a virtue signal. I didn't really care too much about the story when it first came out, but after finding this, I have a feeling I know the real reason why Peter Dinklage is changing the name to Snow White and the Seven Unemployed Actors. Welcome back to the studio. My name is Gothic Arch. I'm the creator of Blue Phoenix comic and a huge Game of Thrones fan. Now, actors do this from time to time. They come out and they, virtue signal. As soon as it came out that Peter Dinklage acted offended about having little people act in roles of dwarves, it got me thinking, because this guy's been, playing a literal dwarf his entire career, and I could see him being angry if they were portraying people with dwarfism, in a bad light or something. But dwarves in fantasy movies and games and all that are always freaking badass. Look at Gimli from Lord of the Rings. Look at the dwarves in Snow White and the Huntsman. They were freaking badass, and they were the heroes of the show. Now instead, Disney is bowing to Peter Dinklage's one complaint on some podcast. They're considering turning the dwarfs into magical creatures. What? Magical creatures? What are they going to be, like little porgs or something with bolts of magic shooting out of their asses? I wanted to look into this more. So first I'll give you some background here. This is an article from Bounding Into Comics. Peter Dinklage's Snow White complaint blasted by dwarf performers. He's trying to take roles away. And this is the first thing that popped into my head. As soon as I heard him say that, I was like, he's going to be costing other little people roles in movies and TV shows because of this. Despite Peter Dinklage's recent attempt to position himself as a progressive champion by railing against the continued depiction of Snow White's seven dwarf companions as dwarves, the number of other dwarf performers, including WWE star Dylan Hounswoggle Postal, believe that Hollywood actors' commitment to being woke could threaten their livelihoods and ruin opportunities for others like them. British actor Chu Tan, who has starred as a number of Snow White's companions in various productions across England, told the Daily Mail he felt Dinklage's comments were hypocritical, as a ton of my colleagues and myself rely on that work to get by, and it's just embracing your uniqueness, because when I play the part, they utilize my bodybuilding and other people's skills. Another fellow dwarf actor, Zeta Ferry, echoed Tan's statements, explaining to the outlet, "I honestly feel that the shows are good for little people such as myself. If Disney didn't use dwarf actors, I do feel it takes away from us." Yeah. So there he is, and you could tell he's totally full of himself. I really did enjoy him in Game of Thrones. Tyrion Lannister was a really cool character, and he did that part great. He's a great actor. At first look, it looks like he's just jumping on the woke bandwagon of virtue signaling. So the thing that Dinklage actually said, he actually went on a very public, big podcast to air his grievances about this. He goes on to say, "Well, it's really progressive to cast a, literally no offense to anyone, but I was a little taken aback by, they're very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, so take a step back and look at what you're doing there," he continued. "It makes no sense to me, because you're progressive in one way, but you're still making that effing backward story of the seven dwarves living in a cave. What the F are you doing, man? Does he not know that the seven dwarves lived in like a nice house that Snow White doesn't fix up? I mean, watch a Disney movie, dude. What the F are you doing, man? Come on, man." So he apparently does not know anything about classic Disney movies. They don't live in a cave. I don't know what he was on when he said that, but then he goes on to say, "Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud enough." He concluded, "I don't know what studio that is, but they were so proud of that. All the love and respect to the actress and to the people who thought they were doing the right thing. But I'm just like, what are you doing?" Yeah, what are they doing? Giving people jobs? Giving people with dwarfism jobs? Yeah, that seems like the right thing to a normal person. So here's a question. Why would Peter Dinklage go and purposefully and publicly ruin 7 jobs, like big jobs for Disney, for 7 people with dwarfism like himself? An actor like that knows what they're doing. They know that there are people that need jobs. He's been in their shoes too. He knows what he's doing. He knows that this is going to cost them jobs. Why would an actor come out and say that in the name of doing it for people with dwarfism like him. I was curious, so I went to IMDb and checked out Disney's Snow White, what year that's coming out. It's in pre-production right now and expected in 2023. So then I went to Peter Dinklage's page just to see what he's been up to. I looked at how many projects that he's done in each year. His years since 2001 have been very full. He's been doing, 4 to 5 projects in there, some voice work, and a lot of TV shows. And then we come to 2018, he's still riding that high off of Game of Thrones. And then we come to 2021, and there is only one project on there. What does that tell you? He might not be getting as many calls for parts anymore. Now, there's a lot of things he's filming right now up here. There's the Wild Bunch announced, but that's just announced. That might not even happen. It's rumored. The Thicket pre-production, Brothers filming. He's filming 3 things, but who knows, how much he's actually in them. So I said to myself, that's kind of, strange that he's not getting that many roles. Maybe, possibly, the real reason why Peter Dinklage is attacking Disney right now and leaving a trail of unemployed little people actors in his path is because he's out of work. Peter Dinklage is the godfather of little people actors. I mean, ask anybody on the street to name a little person actor or an actor with dwarfism. They're going to say that guy from Game of Thrones. Okay, so possibly Disney may have slighted him. They may have not even approached him for a role in Snow White, which is, there's not many roles for little people in Hollywood right now, and him being the biggest person that you think of to play, the part of a dwarf is not going to be in it. Or even worse, he might have been turned down by Disney. Now, I don't have any proof of that, but I'm looking at all the evidence here. He hasn't been in a lot lately. That kind of leads me to believe that he may have gotten slighted by Disney. It might be why he's attacking Disney right now at the cost of fellow little people's jobs. The last thing that's gonna blow your mind, and when I saw this, I was like dumbfounded. Check this out. He's playing a dwarf in a movie called The Dwarf. So what the hell is he talking about? He's full of shit, and I haven't seen anybody talk about it yet, but yeah, he's playing the dwarf in a movie called The Dwarf. There it is. He doesn't give a shit about little people being called dwarves or acting in movies as dwarves. There's an announced movie called The Dwarf, and he's playing the lead role as the dwarf. So there you go. He's full of shit. There's something else going on behind the scenes. You really have to look at all the circumstances surrounding something like this, because he's a smart guy, and he's not just going to go out and publicly attack a big company like Disney like that without knowing what he's doing. So the moral of the story is he's full of shit, and he knows what he's doing, and he's costing people jobs under the guise of virtue signaling. So there it is. Subscribe for more. You're not going to get this anywhere else. I give unique takes. I think about things deeply. I look at other angles of things, and you really do have to look at the people that are making the shadows on the wall. Share that out, like this video, subscribe, and I will see you next time.